Shane has always been that person to show everyone, hey, I can do this.
He's hardworking, he's really determined, he's got like a champion attitude, and everybody needs that.
Just knowing what I've achieved is obviously a great feeling. Anybody that's achieved something that was a goal of theirs in life can imagine, the feeling of not just achieving your goal, but surpassing your goal. I'm doing motivational speaking, I'm playing basketball all over the world, and I'm overall a positive, happy person who helps others achieve their goals.
Shane came to play basketball at Variety Village, that's gotta be 15 years ago. He's just this kid with a bunch of energy, a bunch of fire, and wanted to learn how to play ball and have fun. He's always had a little edge to him.
I showed up to watch, and I took one look at the sport and wheeled up to the coach. I went up to him and I didn't say hello, I didn't ask him his name or anything. I asked him if I could play for his team, and straight away he said yes.
He was only 9 years old at the time, and what first impressed me about him was basically his willingness to try anything.
People were telling Steve and my mom, don't let him play. You're setting him up for failure. He's not gonna do anything with the sport. And once he gets to an age, he's not 8 years old anymore and he wants to go farther in the sport, and he realizes he has half a hand he can't, it's gonna destroy him. It took me 4 years to score my first basket on an 8.5-foot net.
He couldn't even pass the ball, he couldn't dribble. We went through 2 or 3 years where he could just, the first goal was shooting the ball so it would hit the bottom of the mesh.
I didn't really realize that it was such hard work. I was, 8, 9, 10 years old, right? You just want to push around and have fun. And once I got to be about 12 years old, he came up to me with the ball underneath his arm and he said, a lot of people told me you were going to fail and I shouldn't let you play. You weren't going to be anything in this sport. And he dropped the ball and he walked away. Well, 12 years old, I stayed for 3 hours after practice that day till I scored 3 times.
This constant effort that he puts out to just achieve stuff, almost regardless of what it is. He's definitely somebody, characteristic-wise, that will just work at stuff until he's either satisfied that it's finished or somebody says, hey, that's enough.
By the time I was 14, I had to be moved to 17 to 22 because I was just too good to play with these kids. So it was a great feeling for me. My dad wasn't really around in my life, in and out. Wasn't a healthy relationship between the two of us, and growing up that really hurt me. I actually ended up having to leave my first high school and I went to a second school. I got 10% in grade 10 math. I wasn't hanging out with the best crowd. I was getting into some trouble, so it really, basketball definitely saved my life.
He was a member of 3 Canada Games teams representing Team Ontario. He was a member of 2 World Canadian junior teams that competed at the World Championship.
He's driven, basically. He's got a dream and he's got the energy to go through all the obstacles, like people saying, no, you can't do this, or no, you can't do that. He's got the attitude of a champion. He's going to tell that person inside of him, he's going to say, I'm going to show you wrong.
When I wheeled out in front of that crowd with the flag, everything, time kind of stopped for a minute, and I just took it all in, and there's thousands of screaming fans.
And Shane Smith, what an inspiration. When he started playing wheelchair basketball, some people said because of his disability, all he'll have is disappointment. Well, he doesn't have disappointment. He has inspired so many. He won a silver in 2007, and he was a member of the Canadian junior wheelchair basketball team representing Canada.
That right there made me feel like I've achieved so much more than I ever thought that I could. Now that I've achieved that, my view on life is, okay, what's my next goal? I don't have to stop and plateau here. I still have all this room up here.
We look back over the last 13, 14 years of experience in sport and in life, he has a great story to share in terms of perseverance and overcoming barriers. The fact that he can share that experience is a tremendous opportunity and a tremendous gift for a lot of people.
Shane goes out and does his motivational speaking at schools. He tries to really inspire people to overcome whatever problems they've got, and to show people that if he can do it, anybody can get it done.
Mr. Shane Smith.
Looking at me now, I'm sure a lot of people are wondering, why is this guy sitting here in a wheelchair? When I was 4 months old, I contracted a disease called meningococcal septicemia. I don't expect you guys to repeat it. I can't spell it, to be honest with you. For the kids to see someone like me who's physically challenged, they've probably never seen anyone with half a hand before in their entire lives, you know, their kindergarten to grade 8. That's very important. So that way, when they see someone like me on the street, they're not scared, they're not nervous, they see them as a regular person. With the high school students, I'm 22 years old, I can really connect with these kids. I'm not that much older than them. You make your own decisions, you write your own book. Your life is your own story to tell.
He could influence really a lot of people today just by looking at him and how his, not only skill-wise on the basketball court, but just the person that he is.
If my message gets through to one struggling person that's in the audience, I've done my job. And I think that really pushes me and motivates me to keep doing what I'm doing, is knowing that even if it's just one person, I'm changing their life.
Everybody should know Shane. I think everybody should be able to meet Shane, to understand what he goes through and how his life story can impact everybody in a positive way.
I've always felt that I need to share my story because this happened to me for a reason. And the reason that I am physically challenged is so that I can go out there and show people that it doesn't matter what your challenge is, it doesn't matter what's going on in your life, you can overcome it.
His story of perseverance, his story of overcoming barriers, of overcoming negative attitudes in terms of, towards individuals with a disability are something that people can learn from.
My purpose here is to show people, look at me. You know, this is what I've been thrown. I've been dealt this, and that. And not only have I gotten past those, but I've gotten so much farther than where that barrier was set for me. And if I can do it, why can't you?